Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. This is awesome, by the way. Listen, so I work for Fox Sports Radio. I have zero to do with programming at Fox, Big Fox. I love the fact that they are putting mainstream college basketball on the first weekend of the season as the Arkansas Razorbacks, 14th ranked team in the country. They are headed to play the Michigan State Spartans on Saturday night, national audience, 7 p.m. Eastern. This one is going to be awesome. As far as the two teams, let's start with Arkansas. Listen, I'm telling you, Arkansas looks the freaking part, okay? And listen, time is going to tell. Maybe it starts this weekend. Maybe it doesn't, whatever. We're either going to find out if they're good enough or they're not, okay? But I've said since May, the reason that I was confident in John Calipari's team is two reasons. One, we talk about retention all the time. We talk about the fact that to win in college basketball, you need players that have been there before. So I find it funny that all the big analysts that cover college basketball, oh, you need older players and you need retention. But for whatever reason with Arkansas, they don't get credit for it, right? They return the most production in the SEC. And the only guy besides me that I've heard talk about it is John Rothstein. John Rothstein, to his credit, has been like, dude, return the most players, return the most production, like take them seriously. Everybody else is like, it's Arkansas. It's John Calipari. The advanced analytics don't like him. A lot of the analysts don't like him. But they've looked the part so far. Now, coming into this game, it's worth noting Carter Knox, we don't know if he's going to play, dealing with a toe injury. He did not play in Arkansas's opener the other night against Southern. But, you know, I'll say this about Arkansas. They've looked the part through two exhibitions. They looked the part against Southern. And if you listen to John Calipari after the game, he basically said, I don't think we played up to our standard. I think we could have played better. And that is after a game in which the Arkansas Razorbacks put up 109 points and won by 32 points. And with Arkansas, it's so funny. I go back to this time last year, like, and this isn't like tear down what they were last year. They dealt with injuries all kind of preseason. Remember, Nelly Davis was in and out of the lineup. Big Z was in. Well, actually, Big Z was good to go. But Jonas Adu was in and out of the lineup. Trevin Brazil started the season. Then he got hurt, and it took him a while to get going. And I only bring it up because you think back to some of those games last year where they were struggling to put away bad teams. They were trailing in the first half. That ain't their issue this year as they put up 109 in a game that was not competitive, 57 in the first half, and had a 25-point halftime lead. As far as what you need to know, we don't know about Carter Knox, but two things stood out about that opener. One, the two freshmen are unbelievable, man. And I'll say this, you know, we had a commenter a few weeks ago after the second exhibition game say something to the effect of like, you know, Arkansas's stars last year are now role players this year. And I thought it was a little hyperbolic. We were getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Then I was like, is that guy right? Because through the first couple exhibitions in the first regular season game, those two freshmen are absolutely taking over. Darius Acuff in the opener, 22 points and 4 assists. Malik Thomas off the bench playing 29 minutes, 21 points, 7 assists, 4 of 10 from 3. I thought it was interesting. Cal kind of said, like, I want to play both of those guys more than we have. And I think the insinuation is they're our two best players. We have to play them together. So it's very interesting. Those guys are spectacular. And I think the other thing, the guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle last year that stepped up late, Trevin Brazil has been awesome. 25 points and 11 rebounds in the opener against Southern. I know it's, you know, it's going to be much tougher against Michigan State, but remember, this guy was awesome in the SEC tournament last year. He was awesome in the NCAA tournament against St. John's and against Kansas, and he was awesome early, and I think he's the X factor. I just think, I'll be honest, I haven't like really thought about this, but I'm thinking about it in real time. If you're playing him at the 4 and either Nick Pringle or Malik Ewan at the 5, I don't know that there is a team in America that's not a mismatch problem for down low. Trevin Brazil creates so many mismatches, especially at the 4. And I think he's one of the more underappreciated players in all of college basketball. So Arkansas gets the win. Arkansas looks the part. You know who did not look the part of a top 25 team on Monday night? It was the Michigan State Spartans. So Michigan State plays Colgate. Now, Colgate historically is a pretty good team out of their conference in the Patriot League. It is also Colgate, though. Michigan State wins 80-69, but this was a 3-point game at halftime. It was close deep into the second half. Obviously, like I said, they pulled away late. But, I mean, we are talking about a game that was, even with like 5 minutes to go, it was like an 8-point game with 5 minutes to go. This is against Colgate. So we can discuss the particulars in a second. But, producer Matt, give me a thumbs up. We have the Tom Izzo sound after the game. Here is Tom Izzo addressing his team's performance and what's going to happen next if they play like that again.
And I didn't think we played very well. So a lot of work to do, and we're going to get our ass embarrassed on Saturday. And maybe that's good. It's good to have that pressure on us. Questions?
So that was Tom Izzo talking about his team's performance. And yeah, as you can tell, he is not happy. And I don't know that he should be happy with that performance because it was really ugly. Listen, I think the thing that stands out, I know it becomes a cliche talking point at a certain point, but I think it's accurate and I think it's fair with this Michigan State team. It's kind of the same team every year. Like whatever you think about Cal, this year's team is way different than last year. And he had some good teams at Kentucky. He had some not so good teams, but like, every year is like a new thing. With Michigan State, it's like they're kind of the same team every year. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They don't shoot them well. The big guys are big and physical, but they're not super skilled. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I see this season. You look at the opening night, you look at their exhibition. By the way, they went to UConn, and listen, UConn is my preseason national championship pick, but UConn was without Braylon Mullins and Torres Reed, their best shooter and their best physical low post player, and UConn still beat them. And then Michigan State struggled with Colgate. And so again, you don't want to take nothing out of those games, but you don't want to take everything out of it either. And you don't want to take, you don't want to take nothing out of it. You don't want to take everything. And to me, Michigan State kind of looks like Michigan State usually does. Shot 28% from three. They did take a lot of free throws. They had a 31 free throw advantage. Now, they were much bigger and much more physical in the paint. And Jackson Kohler is a big physical guy, 16 points, 15 rebounds. But they just kind of look like every other Michigan State team. And so this one I do have a pick on. I don't know what the spread is going to be. My guess, Circle will have Arkansas as a slight favorite, maybe Michigan State a slight favorite. I think Arkansas goes in, and I think Arkansas wins because I think Arkansas is the better team. And I think there's a couple variables here. One, they at least got the they got the road game under their belt when they went to Memphis. Now, I know there was a lot of Arkansas fans there. I know Memphis maybe isn't as good as Michigan State, but I think it was important being on the road, especially for those young guys. Darius Acuff, especially early, did not look good, okay? But at the same time, I think having played on the road helps. And I think transparently, two things. One, I've said since the day the AP poll came out, Arkansas is better than the 14th best team in the country. And I'll be honest, I don't think Michigan State's very good. I didn't have them in my final top 25, and I'm not criticizing people who did. I just don't think they're that good. You look at them. Yes, they have the veteran point guard in Jeremy Fears. I like him, but they don't have a lot of three-point shooting. Outside of Cohen Carr, who might actually be the most athletic player in college basketball, they don't have a lot of athleticism. Now, in their defense, they did bring in a transfer by the name of Caleb Glenn, who's out for the year with an injury. So I can't blame everything on the roster construction, but there's a couple things. Are they athletic enough? I think they're going to face one of the few teams in college basketball that has the size and physicality to match them. And then beyond that, what I also think is this. I just think Arkansas has better players. And so, again, Cohen Carr is phenomenal, okay? If you've not seen him, this guy is the human highlight reel of college basketball. Mostly just a dunker, can't really shoot. Let me put it this way. If Cohen Carr could shoot 37% from three, he would have been in the NBA a long time ago because he's got that kind of athleticism. But you just look at the front line. Michigan State's not going to be able to bully Arkansas the way that they did with Colgate. They couldn't bully UConn. And are they going to be able to stay in front of Arkansas's guards? Are they going to be able to stop Arkansas's guards? And are they going to be able to keep Arkansas's guards off the line? And then the other thing is, I think after, what John Calipari deemed to be a defensive performance that could have been better against Southern, I think you get a much better defensive performance against Arkansas as well. So I will say final score in this one, 81-67. I think it's definitely a little bit more physical and low scoring than North Carolina, Kansas, but give me the Arkansas Razorbacks to win the game at the Breslin Center. And I'll tell you this, if they win this game, I think they will be the talk of college basketball going into next week. By the way, Arkansas, plenty of tests in December. They play Louisville at home. They play Texas Tech on a neutral. They play Houston on a neutral. They play Duke on a neutral. So we got plenty of tough tests ahead. But this is Arkansas have a little bit of a soft spot on the schedule after this one. So this will be the first big test. And whether they win or lose, we'll probably overreact because it's going to be a while before they play Duke on Thanksgiving Day.